Now, this episode aired a whole 2 weeks ago. I am mega late. I'm 2 episodes behind. I am sorry about that. I don't even know why it took me so long to review this episode, and then I had to work on the one review, the One Piece live action review, and that just ate up like 3 days of my time. So it just made me fall back on everything. But I'm here today to review episode 19 of Pokémon Horizons. This episode is titled "The Truth About Alcremie." And the summary for this episode is: the group has arrived in the Galar region, where they decided to leave the conspicuous airship behind and travel by land to the old castle Liko grandmother Diana is supposed to be in. However, since the train is currently out of service, they decide to spend some time in Engine City, where Liko and Roy head for the Battle Cafe alongside Murdock. There they encounter Mitchell, a former passeteer, I probably said that wrong, colleague of his, and it seems the two of them have quite the history. Now, this episode is focused on Murdock. It's Murdock's episode. We get a backstory for him. Before this episode, Liko kind of thought he was the most level-headed on the crew. He was the most mature. But with this episode, she got to see a different side of him when Mitchell was introduced. Now, Mitchell and Murdock used to run a baking store. They were friends. It was all fine and dandy, right? Until Murdock's milkery involved into an alchemy, the ruby form, to be specific, and that made little Mitchell a little jealous, right? And then it just went downhill from there. Mitchell wasn't getting as much sales as Murdock over here, and he was feeling kind of jealous, kind of envious. You know that feeling when someone's jealous of you. He was feeling kind of envious of Murdock. He's getting more sales than me. What the hell? So they got into a big fight. And since that day, they have not spoken until today. They spoke today. They just randomly saw each other in Engine City, right? Mr. Mitchell is he's doing battles for the it's a certain type of cotton candy. I forget the name, right? It's slipping my mind. It's a pearl fluffy cotton candy, something like that, right? This great tasting cotton candy. He's doing battles for it, and that's originally the reason why Liko and the gang go, because Dot over here wants that cotton candy for one of her videos, so they go here to do that, right? So that happens, and eventually Murdock tells him all the story, and Liko's like, man, we have to have a battle. We have to battle. That's gonna get y'all, to be friends again. So she goes over there and begs Mr. Mitchell to have a battle with them, which I think was a little crazy, like begging. She's like, I beg of you. And I was like, that's a little nuts, right? A little crazy to say, right, for a battle. I don't think it was that serious, but they did have a little battle. The battle was extremely mid, but that wasn't the point, right? The point of that is that it devolved into a little sweets battle, which I thought was much more exciting, because I love sweets, and everything they were making looked amazing. So I thought that was better, but that devolved into that, and they became friends again. They finally patched it up, and what put the icing on the cake, literally, Mr. Mitchell brings out one of his own cakes, one of the green cakes, and Mawip, I was about to say its Japanese name, Alcremie, put some of its cream on the cake, and they ate it, and it was delicious. So that was a little bookend to that. I probably skimmed over a few other details of this episode, or that part of the episode. There's another part I'm about to get to, but I think that whole story was pretty cute. I like that story. It definitely gave vibes of them like they were together or something. Like it's like an ex-boyfriend type of thing. Like they liked each other. It kind of gave me that kind of vibes, Hey, bro, I ship it. I ship it. I ain't gonna lie, I ship it. If they get together, I wouldn't mind that. But the other thing in this episode is Kabu, the gym leader. He was mentioned in this episode, and he actually shows up at the end. Roy wants to go to him for what's it called? Any information about the Black Rayquaza, because Kabu is from the Hoenn region. So, it makes sense. That's basically going to be the focus of this episode. Kabu actually shows up at the end of this episode, but besides that, he isn't really much of a thing in this episode. It's basically the Murdock and Mitchell plot the whole time. That's basically most of the episode, and like I said, I think it's a pretty cute backstory. I love seeing character development, learning more about characters. So, definitely my cup of tea. Definitely a fun little episode. Not too exciting. Not much. Nothing too exciting happened. But like I said, it's mostly a character focused episode, and it does that pretty well. It's a pretty good episode. I think this series has done a pretty good job of developing characters. Something I noticed about Dot too is she's actually starting to come out with the crew. She's actually starting to stand, she's on the ship with the crew, the rest of the crew. Like I predicted that would happen last review, and it's happening now, and that's really cute to see. But yeah, a character focused episode. Next week we're getting into the KABU'S stuff, and I can't wait. But for this episode, pretty good. That's all for me. See you on the next review, which will be coming out today. I have to pump out like 2 more reviews and another video. All that will probably be uploaded today. But yeah, that's all for me. See you on the next one later today.